Euros. Scotland have just played and they've drawn 1-1 against Switzerland and Granit Xhaka. Now, first of all, does this mean that Scotland still have a chance of making the last 16 of Euro 2024? Are Scotland still in it? Is this a good result for them? Is it good enough? Or are they still up against it to qualify? So my observations really on Scotland are that they've had two very different games. They looked like they were pushing to win it against Switzerland at the end there, throwing everything at trying to win the game, and they didn't quite manage it. But they are still well within a shout of qualifying for the last 16 of Euro 2024. So I'm not just going to be talking about Scotland today. I'm going to be talking about an overview of the games that have just gone by. In the last few days, we've seen obviously Germany tonight beat Hungary. We saw a shock result. Slovakia turned Belgium over. Highly surprising result. Lukaku back to his same old tricks in tournament football. And will Belgium be going home early? Will it be one of the most disappointing tournaments to be a Belgium fan? Portugal last night beating the Czech Republic 2-1, and what a goal that was by Czech Republic to go 1-0 up. Great finish from the edge of the box. These are the kind of tournament goals that you love to see. So Portugal came back. They won the game 2-1 in the end. Bit of a difficult one for them. They kept going, and Conceição in the end. Us Arsenal fans know all about Conceição. We saw him in the Champions League this season. What a moment that was for him, and a moment no doubt he will remember for the rest of his life, scoring the winning goal for his home nation against the Czech Republic in a pressure game. Now, I think another topic that we need to discuss is Ronaldo. Now, like many football fans, I went on last night. I got home, sat down on my couch, made myself a nice drink, and I thought, brilliant, I get to see one of the GOATs of football play in his, I think, 6th or 7th tournament at this point. He's played in so many. I think he's actually broken a record for how many tournaments he's actually appeared in now. And I was a bit underwhelmed by him, to be quite honest. Now, I know obviously he's getting older in terms of his age. He's no spring chicken anymore, Ronaldo. And it's quite phenomenal, to be honest, that he's made this tournament at the age of 39, which he is now. Will he be making the next World Cup? I mean, you wouldn't completely write him off, would you? But yesterday he looked a bit off it for me, and it looked like Portugal were just trying to play the ball to him, just to give him the goal, give him the glory. And I always find it quite funny because when Portugal score, and I watched this yesterday very closely, I always look to see how Ronaldo reacts. And although you can see that he's happy that the team scored, what you do also see is he's not quite as joyous as some of the other players, because I think he's thinking in the back of his mind, I want to be the one to score. I want to be the one to score. So Portugal have a fantastic team. They have an amazing group of players. I've got Bruno Fernandes. You've got Bernardo Silva. You've got João Felix, who didn't feature yesterday. Conceição looked very handy in midfield, and a few others as well. They've got a really exciting squad, Portugal, and I wouldn't be that surprised to see them go all the way in this tournament. Will they produce something special like they did in 2016? Will they go all the way to win it? Now, it's a difficult one, really, because obviously the French are the favourites to win Euro 2024. But you saw in their game yesterday, a little bit laboured, actually, over Austria. And it wasn't the dominant show that everybody thought it would be. Now, if you joined the stream earlier when I was on with Jamie Waffles Footy and guest appearance from Josh, if you saw that chat, we did discuss how it was quite difficult to win games in Euro competitions and in the World Cups as well. I mean, how many times have we seen a fancied teams struggle in the group stage to get out of the group? Many times. So, and I think we saw that with France last night. I'm sure everybody sat down thinking France would win that convincingly. and they didn't. It was a bit of a struggle, and a fairly even game as well at times. So you've seen how less fancy teams can produce a result. That's been shown throughout so many tournaments in history, but especially today. There's been lots of surprise results over the course of the day. Obviously, you saw the Croatia game earlier that ended 2-2. Nobody would have been more shocked by that than the Croatian fans, I'm sure. And they look like a spent force Croatia, which is strange, really, given they have done so well over the last few tournaments, obviously being knocked out by Argentina in the semi-finals of the World Cup, and going all the way to a final, of course, against the French team, and just falling short against France. So, yeah, Croatia, I don't know what to make of Croatia, to be honest with you. They've got some very, very good players, but they just don't look capable of doing it at the moment. And that's a strange thing. That can be down to many different things. That can be down to just a team not gelling properly. Obviously, their star man Luka Modric now is getting sort of older. He's, I think, 37 now. Still a fantastic player, but are Croatia falling down in terms of their consistency in tournament football? That will remain to be seen, but it looks certainly like they won't be making it out of the group now. It looks like they're going to have a real difficult time advancing in this tournament, which of course immediately is a shock. So the question I'd like to ask for anybody watching now or anybody watching after the fact, who do you think will be the surprise knocked out teams in this tournament? Obviously, Croatia is one. That looks very likely to happen now. Do you think the Belgians will make it through now? Do you think Belgium might be going home early as well? Or do you think that they will recover? Again, another side with the really great players, Kevin De Bruyne, just star man for Manchester City, of course, over so many years, and many, many others as well. They've got a really great squad, very talented squad. Jeremy Doku, and Thibaut Courtois in goal. They've got a great side, but again, they just don't seem to be clinical in these big games. And again, you saw it in the World Cup. They were knocked out early in that competition as well. Obviously, Lukaku missing lots of chances in that tournament too. So it really does baffle me as a football fan to see these teams like Belgium and Croatia really, really struggle in this tournament. But it just shows you that any team can win. And if you're not clinical enough, you will be punished in tournament football. So moving on to England, then, I think it's very important we talk about England. England are obviously playing their second match of the tournament against Denmark tomorrow. Now, I've been asked on many different shows, podcasts, what my thoughts are on the team. I've talked very widely about my desire to see Cole Palmer play in place of Foden. Does anybody agree or disagree with me? Again, hit in the comments below if you think Foden should be replaced. Should he be out of the side for tomorrow? We're hearing reports that Southgate is going to remain with an unchanged side, which is, from my perspective, quite disappointing. I think we need some changes to be made. Obviously, that means Luke Shaw is not going to be back, and that means that Foden will be starting. Now, again, one of my criticisms of England over the years, and in a really purple patch for England sides in tournament football, is the inability to make attacking substitutions. Now, obviously, in Euro 2020, everybody was calling for Jack Grealish to come on. In the final and in the semi-final, there were moments where people were saying, "Got to get Grealish on the field." And he didn't do it. He does seem to make Southgate these pragmatic substitutions. And I was watching the game against Serbia with a friend of mine, and I said, he's going to bring on Gallagher. And he did, because, again, it was sort of the safe option. I want to see this England team let loose. I really do. I want to see this England team unshackled to really show their attacking flair, because at the end of the day, everybody, it's our attack that sets us out from the other teams. Okay, you've got Declan Rice in midfield, very solid player, really the sort of the engine behind the England side. But these attacking players are the players that we need to be given the proper opportunity to express themselves. So you've got Cole Palmer, for instance, Eberechi Eze, you've got Ollie Watkins. We as Arsenal fans know just how good a finisher Ollie Watkins is over the years. I think he scored 3 or 4 goals against us in the league over the past few years. So these players really do need to be given an opportunity to shine. And I think if they're trusted, then they will do very, very well. Now, it's remiss of me to talk about anybody other than Cole Palmer, because everybody that knows my footballing views on this will know exactly what I'm going to say next. Cole Palmer is the type of player that we need to see on the pitch for England. Why? Because it's not just about the fact that he scored goals. Anybody that watches him play knows that he drops into pockets and he's just as good without the ball as he is with the ball. He's actually a very, very intelligent player. So I challenge you, go back and watch him in a highlights reel or whatever. Go watch a highlight package of a game that he played in, and you'll see his movement off the ball. And that's what we need. We need somebody to drop in between the lines and make that difference. And of course, if we do get an opportunity from a penalty, we know that Palmer will score it. Now, it's very rare to have a penalty taker in your team that has literally scored every penalty that they've ever taken. I mean, that is quite incredible in terms of pedigree from the penalty spot. He really is just an immense player. And there was a goal earlier this season, and I'm just trying to think off the top of my head who he scored it against. I think it was an away game against Luton. And that was right, actually. Yeah, he played an away game against Luton for Chelsea. And the way he jinked around the goalkeeper and was so cool in the way he put the ball in the net, it did remind me as an Arsenal fan of the goal that Mesut Ozil scored against Ludogorets in the Champions League, which was also an unbelievable finish. It reminded me very much of that. So I think Palmer can do it all. And that's why I would start him in the next game. I'm not saying don't give Foden minutes. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you can bring Foden off the bench if you need him. But we need Palmer to be starting, I think, in this game. I think it's very important that we give our creative players time on the pitch. Otherwise, why are we taking them? Otherwise, why did they get on the plane? Otherwise, why didn't Southgate go for a Jordan Henderson, for instance, who's a safe pair of hands in tournament football? There are a lot of players that were left behind. And I think if we're leaving behind dependable players like Jordan Henderson and Jack Grealish, then we really need to give the opportunity to these attacking flair players that we've got. I want to see Eze on the pitch. I want to see Palmer given a chance. And I want to see attacking football from England. And we've spoken many times over the past few days about the kind of game we'll see against Denmark. And I think it's going to be a more open game. So I would start with a more attacking lineup in terms of replacing Foden with somebody else and letting our attacking players do what they've been doing in the league all season. The likes of Palmer, the likes of Eberechi Eze. I would even say there's a shout for Kobbie Mainoo to start. I think we really, really need to give these young players the opportunity to express themselves in an England shirt. And if we don't do that, then why did we bring them at all? I have a comment. Evening, mate. Corbin Butler. Yes, evening to you too. How are you doing this evening? You doing well? And you say, I agree. Thank you. Yes. What would your lineup be tomorrow for the game? Are you excited to see any particular players? Is there anybody you want to start? Would you give Foden a go again, or would you go with Cole Palmer like me? Need to stay strong lineup for Denmark. Yeah, I do agree with you. I do agree with you. But does strong mean Foden or does strong mean Cole Palmer? I'd only make the one change for me. I don't think Luke Shaw will be back. I think it's going to be Cole Palmer. The only change that could potentially be made, and that's if Southgate wants to revert from Foden. But my instinct is that he won't do that. I think he's going to stick with the same, unfortunately. Yeah, absolutely. I think Cole Palmer is worth a chance. I think, even Arsenal fans like myself realise that the likes of Palmer really need to get on the pitch. And I mean, speaking for myself, I think he's an incredibly exciting player to watch. So yeah, let's hope that he's given a shot. Southgate said he'll keep virtually the same lineup. Yeah, I think he will, because I think Southgate's a pretty pragmatic manager in the sense that he's not a risk taker. And I don't want to criticize him really too much. We're in the middle of a tournament at the moment, and even I have to appreciate, even Southgate doubters, which I have been over the years at times. I think we need to realize that he's done very well with England. First of all, he's done amazingly well. He's been a very successful England manager, but I just wish he would just use attacking players more. Let the handbrake off, as certain managers have put it. Another comment. I interviewed you outside the stadium. Oh yes, I remember you. Yeah, yes, I do remember you. How are you, Corbin? Yeah. How's your summer going, man? Hope it's going well. Yeah, so I think it will be interesting to see what he does. I don't think he's going to change anything. Will he be a bit more creative with some substitutions? I don't know. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what he does. So what about Scotland? Have you watched Scotland tonight? What did you make of their performance? Do you think that they have a shout for getting through to the last 16? I personally think they're still in it. I think Scotland have half a chance of qualifying. And I think if Scotland get through to the last 16, that will be one heck of an achievement for Scottish football. I'm great, thanks, mate. All is okay. Keep up the content. Thank you very much for your support. I'm sure you probably have already, but if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please do. It'd be great to have you supporting the channel. And yeah, you'll see me outside the Emirates as well next season. I'll be doing more interviews, more content. We're going to be there pretty much every home game if I have my way. I don't miss many games. It's very, very rare that I miss an Arsenal game. So yeah, you will see me outside the stadium talking to fans, and I'm sure I'll catch you for another interview then. Scotland, I didn't watch them tonight, but they haven't been awful. Yeah, I mean, they were pumped against Germany, weren't they? But then, what can be expected? The gulfing quality between Germany and Scotland is very, very vast. I think Germany look like they're going to potentially win the tournament. Scotland are. It would be an amazing achievement if they get to the last 16 for me. And they've still got a 50-50 chance. So yeah, be great for Scottish football if they get to the last 16, but I don't think they'll get any further than that. So what I want to ask is, who do you think will be in the last four? Who are your four semi-finalists of Euro 2024? I'm sure England might be in there, but who are the other three? Yes, so we've got more football tomorrow. We've got a very exciting evening of football tomorrow, everybody. We've got England, of course, playing Denmark, and then we've got Spain, Italy, which is going to be an incredible game for the neutral. Now, I hope I'm not commentators cursing that, and then we get a really dull, drab 0-0. But I highly doubt it. I think Spain against Italy will be a great game. And I expect the Spanish to win that. I think the Spanish will beat the Italians. And the reason I think that is because they just destroyed Croatia. I mean, it wasn't even close, was it? It was just a bit embarrassing for Croatia, who I've already spoken about this evening. England, Germany, France, and Spain. Yeah, those are good shouts. And I was just saying as well, I think Spain are a very good side, actually. I think they might be quite underrated. I think they're going to go far in this tournament, Spain. I wouldn't be that shocked to see them make it to the final. But yeah, it will be a very interesting thing to see. Yeah, you're off. Thank you for supporting the channel and have a good evening, mate. Nice to see you. Take care. Yeah, so there we are. We've got Spain tomorrow, we've got Italy tomorrow, England tomorrow, Denmark tomorrow. Some very exciting football matches in this Euro 2024 tournament. And again, who are the shouts? Who are the shouts to win it? For me, I think the Portuguese might be in with a shout as well for the semi-final. I think Portugal could well go quite far in Euro 2024. I think they've got a really good side. Obviously, I talked about them earlier on in the stream, but I think they have just got some very exciting players. And I think if the team gels, if they're not playing like they're trying to find Ronaldo every time, then they could well get very far in the tournament. I certainly think they're going to make the last 8. Whether they make the last 4 or not will remain to be seen. So I've got a couple of people watching. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for supporting the channel. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Those 3 punches. Like, subscribe, comment. It'd be great to hear from you. Great to hear your thoughts. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. Really do appreciate it very, very much. So if you've got any comments on anything I've said tonight, please hit me in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you agree with me or if you disagree with me, because after all, football, as we all know, is a game of opinions, and it's good when people disagree as well, because it can make for some very interesting debates. So there we go. Yeah, England tomorrow. I think Southgate will stick. I don't think he'll twist. But Denmark are a good side. Manchester United fans will tell you that they've got the likes of Rasmus Højlund, Christian Eriksen, who scored an amazing goal the other night. That was a really, really fantastic goal, especially poignant for him because, of course, that was his first goal since what happened to him in Euro 2020. And I must say, it's brilliant to see him playing in this tournament. It's fantastic. And I really, I'm very happy for him that he's back in international football and doing so well. It's marvellous to see. So I was very pleased to see Christian Eriksen score a goal in this tournament. It's fantastic. But I don't want to see him score against England, of course, because I am an England fan, and he's going to be important for Denmark. He's obviously one of their creative players. Manchester United fans will know better than me how he's doing in their side in terms of position, what position he plays for them. I think he can play a number of roles, can't he, Christian Eriksen? I think probably he's going to be more pushed up field, isn't he? He's going to be in that sort of central attacking midfield role, I would imagine, and probably trying to feed Rasmus Højlund as well. And obviously, every football fan knows Rasmus Højlund is an excellent player. So it will be very interesting to see how he gets on as well. Yeah, so a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes. Of course, that's football for you. We know how it goes with football. Lots of conditionals. But will England win the game? Do we think England will get over the line? I do. I think England will win. I think it'll be a more open game. I'm hoping for a more open game because I must say, in terms of the Serbia-England game on a quality level, it wasn't the best quality, to be quite honest. It was a bit of a drab game, to be honest. I mean, it was watchable. Certainly in the first half, England were very, very good. There's no doubt about that. But in the second half, obviously Serbia came at us, and to be honest with you, they were unlucky, I should say, unlucky not to equalise in that game. I think it could have been a very interesting thing to have seen what would happen if Serbia had made it 1-1. But they didn't, and England won, and we've got 3 points. And if we win tomorrow, we're up to 6 points, and we are qualified. already after 2 games, which would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Already thinking about the last 16, if that happens, of course. And what does Southgate do if he gets through tomorrow? Will he play in the 3rd game? Will he just use the squad? I mean, he'd have no reason not to. Surely he'd have to use the squad. It would be very important for Southgate to do that. I think we need to be playing everybody, as I've said already tonight. I think we need to be using our squad players as much as possible, and we're in a really privileged position if we don't make it through. If we do make it through tomorrow, because we've got the perfect opportunity to do that. So, from my perspective, why would he not? Why would he not? Maybe Ramsdale will get a run out. I'm sure Gooners would love to see that. Aaron Ramsdale get a start and goal. That would be fantastic for him. Another appearance in an England shirt. And it's always exciting, these tournaments, because you never know what might happen in any given game. So there we are. Those are my thoughts this evening about the games that have gone and the games that are coming up. I expect to see Germany qualify very soon. They're 2 wins out of 2 now. They're 6 points for Germany. So I think they will be looking already at the last 16. I expect them to ring changes as well in their next game. And yeah, it will be very interesting how these teams react once they're through. Because, of course, Portugal might be in the same position. Spanish could be in the same position, of course, if they beat Italy tomorrow. I'm not overly overwhelmed by Italy, I must say. Obviously, that first game that they played, they sort of stuttered to a win, 2-1, and they just about got there, but they were not very convincing. And I don't think we're going to have a repeat of Euro 2020. I think they'd be lucky to make it to the quarterfinals, to be honest with you. Again, let me know in the comments if you disagree. I'd love to hear somebody say, no, disagree, Italy are going to go far, but I don't think they will. I don't think they've been particularly convincing in this tournament so far. Obviously, you might say, okay, well, they had a slow start, but I don't see them beating Spain. I think Spain are going to beat them quite convincingly. I think that could be 2-0, 3-1, maybe even a 4-1 potentially. So coming towards the end of my stream, because I'm not going to be on for too much longer, I'm going to predict the scores of tomorrow's games and obviously hold myself to account in terms of what the scores are. But I'm going to make a couple of predictions. Denmark versus England. I think England will win the game. I expect that game to end 3-1. I think both sides will score, but I think England will win and will go through to the last 16. The other game, I've already touched on it briefly, the Spanish versus the Italians in the late game. That is going to be a Spain victory, and I'm going to predict a 2-0 win for Spain. So Spain 2, Italy 0, England 3, Denmark 1. The early game, let's have a look. Let's have a quick check and see what the early game is. And I will make a prediction on that as well. So the early game tomorrow is Slovenia versus Serbia. Yeah, I should have known that because they're both in the same group. So Slovenia versus Serbia. I expect that to be a tight affair. I think that might actually be a very good game because both teams know that they need to win really to have a chance of going through. I can see a win for Serbia, actually. I think Serbia might win that. I was quite impressed with some of their play against England. I thought they really were coming on strong in the second half. Now, some people are going to say, well, that's because England were rubbish. And some people are going to say, well, that's just because, we were sitting back and we were letting them come on to us. But they looked useful. It's just a case of, can they be clinical enough? Can they score enough goals? I think they will win the game, Serbia. I think that's going to be a 2-1 to Serbia. Calling it now. But that said, I was very impressed by Slovenia in their first game as well. And there's a lot of good teams. I mean, you don't get to a tournament like this without having a good team, do you? Even Albania were fantastic to get that 2-2 draw earlier on today. So I'm going to conclude it there. Thank you very much for those who came into this live and gave me some comments. Thank you very much. Shout out to you, Corbin, because you were the main commenter tonight. So thank you for supporting the channel. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We know it as the 3 punches. Like, subscribe, and comment. So hit those 3 punches, please. It would be absolutely amazing to have you on board with the channel. I am AGN Entertainment on YouTube. I'm AGN Football on TikTok, and I'm AGN Entertainment now on Twitter as well. So thank you very much for watching. If you're watching this after the fact, please let me know what you think of what I've said in this video. Tell me if you think I'm on the money, and tell me if you think I'm chatting rubbish as well. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts and comments. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you